Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Salaam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, and the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And family, today, some big news came out today concerning the Proud Boys and the trial that was surrounding some of the leaders of the Proud Boys. Now, all of this is happening at the same time as the Donald Trump indictment. And what we want y'all to understand is that while you find some of the liberal elements celebrating and whatnot of the results of these trials, you got to understand the real thing that is going on here is not a standing up for democracy, so to speak, or you know a trail into justice. What's actually happening? It is a civil war between the old white supremacist and the new white supremacist. That's all that's going on here. Okay, it is a power struggle, an internal power struggle between the element of the old democratic powers and the new rising right-wing power fueled and powered by social media. Okay, that's all that's going on here. And this new power that is rising, which is galvanized by social media, remains gaining steam because of clips and memes and things of this nature. And we're going to show you beyond a shadow of a doubt, okay, that this ain't got nothing to do with no sort of seeking justice or whatnot. Even though those folks in the Proud Boys, they did get the in my opinion, they got what they deserved. You know, I do believe that even 17 years is quite late for what happened. We have many Muslims in Guantanamo Bay right now for longer than 17 years without trial or charge. And for doing what? For being just a threat to American democracy. That's it. That's their only crime. They are threatening American democracy, allegedly. Allegedly, okay? Well, while these guys came to overturn an entire election, 17 years in terms of trying to bring down your own government is quite late. There are governments that would send you to the guillotine for that. But we're going to go first. We're going to read what exactly we're talking about in terms of the trial. Just give me a moment here. Let me just pull it up. I just had it here. What the heck? 1 second, y'all. I literally just had it here. 1 second. Let me just pull it up again. 1 second, y'all. But anyways, the point is that the January 6th Commission, they did, of course, their formal investigations and whatnot, inquiries and things of that nature. And then eventually it led to certain trials concerning certain Proud Boys members. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who the Proud Boys are, they are this essentially the evolution of white supremacy in modern times. You know, how can we make white supremacy palatable to the public? This is how we do it. We get involved in a whole bunch of ideological arguments that the masses can rally behind. And then after we've done that, we sprinkle a little white supremacy in that. You know, sprinkle the truth with the falsehood. That's how they did it. And they did it with mass campaigns on social media. Okay, so let me just get this up for you. This from the BBC. One second, y'all. Okay, one second. Let's get this shared up. So here we go. Oh, believe me, we're gonna go deep. Just relax. Just give me a minute here, man. All right. So, anyways, Proud Boys Ethan Nordine and Dominic Pizzola jailed for a U.S. Capitol riot. Okay. Two members of the far right Proud Boys group have been jailed for leading the Capitol riot. Dominic Pizzola, 46, was convicted of assaulting police and obstructing an official proceeding, was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Ethan Nordine, 32, who led the group's march on the Congress on January 6, 2021, was sentenced to 18 years for a more serious seditious conspiracy charge. The former head of the group, Enrique Tarrio, will be sentenced next week. You know, Enrique, for y'all who don't know who Enrique Tarrio is, let me just show y'all. I'm going to show you a picture of Enrique Tarrio, okay? Just to show y'all, you can just guess what he's going to get just by looking at him, okay? Enrique Tarrio. One second, y'all. Let me just get this picture up. You can just guess what this white supremacist is going to get from these judges. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this. Let me show y'all Enrique Tarrio before we continue. Okay? One second, y'all. This is Enrique Tarrio. If you're thinking yourself, he looked a little bit on the black side, that's because he is a little bit on the black side. Okay? Hispanic and black, from what I understand. Enrique Tarrio, leader of a white supremacist group. Okay? And you got to understand the white supremacists, they've been doing this stuff for a better part of almost 4 centuries now. They know very well how to play the game. They know how to trick people into making them think that they're not white supremacists. So you can just guess what Mr. Enrique Tarrio is going to get just by looking at him. But I digress. That's a different story for a different day. If one white man got 10 years and another white man got 17 years, I'm going to make a prediction here and now that this dude is going to get more than that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You heard it here first. He's getting his sentence handed down next week. I'm saying, I'm calling it right now, he's going to get more than 17 years. Okay? I don't know why I feel in my gut I feel in my heart why this man will get more than 17 years, but I just have a feeling that he's going to get more than 17 years. But let's go back, y'all. Let's go back to the original story that we're reading from the BBC, and then we're going to cook. Before being sentenced, Nordine told the court, listen to this, man. Mind you, I remind you how brave these guys were in storming the Capitol. They were brave soldiers fighting for democracy. Listen to what they said, okay? Listen. I would like to apologize for my lack of leadership that day and called the riot a complete and utter tragedy. These are his words. They knew what they were doing. It's a complete and utter tragedy now because you're facing the consequences. That's why it's a complete and utter tragedy today. But you know very well what you were doing at the time. But U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly told him that the events that broke a long political tradition, if we don't have a peaceful transfer of power in this country, we don't have anything, Mr. Kelly said. Nordine of Washington State went by the nickname of Rufio Panman and was well known within the Proud Boys for his frequent brawls with Antifa activists in Pacific Northwest. His sentence was one of the longest ones yet handed to the Capitol riot defendants. Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers militia, was also given 18 years in prison earlier this year. Y'all watching? The other defendant sentenced on Friday, Pizzola, a 46-year-old former U.S. Marine, fought with the officers during the riot and smashed a window with a police riot shield. A selfie video taken on that day of the riot shows Pizzola smoking what he described as a victory cigar in a Capitol building. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention to how they are describing what happened in their own words. Okay, all of this is documented in court because this is going to come up later. Okay. While he was convicted on assault and obstruction charges, he was acquitted of seditious conspiracy, a charge applied to the defendants for plotting the overthrow of the government to use force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States. An emotional. Oh my God, these guys are something else, man. An emotional Pizzola expressed some remorse for his actions during the sentencing hearing. His wife, daughter, and mother also addressed the judge, and his mother describing him as having been a wonderful child. Of course he was. That never gave me any trouble. Of course he didn't. Are you kidding me right now? What? Mind you, these are the people who spit on the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. These very same people that are burning Black Lives Matters flags, showing all this bravado when they can bully people. That's who they are. They're brave when they're bullies. These folks. His mama saying, he never gave me no trouble, no. Come on, man. Pizzola's wife said that her daughters have become victims, oh boo-hoo, victims of harassment and bullying at school. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. But once the prisoner had been handed down and the judge had left the room, Pizzola raised his fist and shouted, Trump won. Oh my gosh. The Proud Boys, which started an all male, hard drinking, self described Western chauvinist fraternity 7 years ago, saw themselves as Donald Trump's foot soldiers and were among the first to march on the Capitol on the day of the riot. Mind you, remember Donald Trump? He told the Proud Boys to stand down and stand by on national television, right? When he was asked to denounce white supremacist groups. Donald Trump, the same white supremacist who said that some of the white supremacists in Charlottesville, some of them were good people. The Nazis, mind you, not just the Nazis. Not Donald Trump. Okay, but anyway, the point is, they are sorry. They are showing remorse. They are admitting to their crimes. They are, they're this and they are that. Okay, that's the point. The bravado left the building. Okay, all the bravado left the building. All he can do in his last fit of defiance, after his mama said he never hurt nobody, he never hurt nobody. After his mama came, he was a good boy. you know, you know what I'm saying? Like after his mama came, oh, boo, the tears. We talk about the tears of the white woman. The tears of the white woman are deadly weapons, especially against black people. We talked about this many times. Many black people have been murdered and locked up in jail for many a years because of the tears of the white woman. Well, here come the tears of the white mama trying to save her white son from going to jail for doing something which is more than enough evidence to show. However, like we said in the beginning, all of it really is a civil war between the old white supremacists and the new white supremacists. That's it. It is a power struggle between two groups of white supremacists. It is the new civil war. It is the new North-South. How do you know? Are you saying that the Democratic Party is a white supremacist party? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. They've always been a white supremacist party. The difference between the white supremacy of a Democrat and the white supremacy of a Republican is their ability to make white supremacy comfortable to the people they're trying to oppress. That's it. Democrats have a myriad of broken promises dating back to the 60s towards black folk. You got to remember the Democratic Party, they were the actual Republican Party in the beginning, okay? We told you all this before, right? What you see as Democrats and Republicans today was not the Democrats and the Republicans of 1867 after the Civil War when Abraham Lincoln was a leader of the Republican Party. Abraham Lincoln was a leader of the Republican Party, which was formerly known as the Whigs, but he was a Northerner. Y'all hearing me? He was a Northerner. The Southern, what we now know as states, were the Confederates. They weren't states back then. They were known. Well, they were states, but they were known as the Confederate party, and their party was the Democrats. The Southern, that old racist white racist money, came from the South. They were the slave owners. They were the plantation owners, and they wanted to break off from the Union in order to use their slaves to build railroads going west, which sparked the Civil War because Abraham Lincoln was trying to keep the Union together. And when Abraham Lincoln was losing, what did he do? He said, you know what? If you Negroes join us in this fight against the Confederates, we are going to give you freedom. We are going to give you 40 acres and a mule. And fighting for freedom is not like fighting to keep people enslaved. Those are two different fights, okay? Fighting to steal somebody's wealth is not like fighting for your liberty. They're not the same fights. So when black folks joined the Union against the Confederates in the Civil War, that's when the tide changed. And only then. Because now you have millions of slaves not just running away, but picking up arms against their former slave masters under the promise of freedom and under the promise of 40 acres and a mule. And none of those promises were ever fulfilled. So between that time and the 60s, what you have is massive voter suppression, massive oppression, Jim Crow against black folk from who? The Democrats, okay? They were the party of the South. You get it? But also at the same time, you had 75 of the first 100 years of this union, the Republican Party was basically getting all of the presidents, the party of the North, for the 75 of the first 100 years. Then the Civil Rights Movement happened. And what happened? Mind you, Abraham Lincoln, he said that he didn't want to, if he could keep the Union without freeing his slaves, he would do so. He believed in the superiority of the white race. He believed that. But he believed the only way to win this Civil War was to invite enslaved black folks in it. So for 75 of the first 100 years, the Republican Party basically had all the presidents. Then the Civil Rights Movement started happening, and that's when the Democrats came up with this idea. You know what? Why don't we give those black folk civil rights? And they infiltrated the Civil Rights Movement, as you know, and they made all these promises, and everything flipped. Everything flipped. That's when you started seeing the rise of a new group called the Dixiecrats, in which Joe Biden said that he was proud to be the youngest member of the Dixiecrats. The current president of the United States said this. He was proud to be the youngest member of the Dixiecrats. The Dixiecrats was that old Confederate, ideology from the South. And you think those people just disappeared into the ether somewhere? No, they're still around. They're still around. The same people are still around, like Joe Biden is still around, okay? And everything flipped. So then those old Southerners who didn't like what the Democratic Party was doing, they became Republicans because the Republicans says, no, we can't do this. We can't give these, let these second-class citizens be first-class citizens. That's what the Republicans were saying. And then the Republicans flipped to the Democrats. And that's when it became an ideological thing, a left-right paradigm. At that point, okay? At that point. But I digress. Why am I mentioning all this history? I'm mentioning all this history because if you doubt the racism of The Democratic Party, just watch this, y'all. If you have any doubt, look, let me show y'all something. One second, y'all. Here we go. Let's watch this.
.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. As we turn now to look at the Dominican Republic and the plight of sugar plantation workers, including many Haitian migrants who live under dire conditions. Last year, the Biden administration banned sugar imports from one of the major Dominican sugar companies, Centro Romana, which sells its products in the United States under the Domino brand. At the time, the U.S. government said it had uncovered, quote, indicators of forced labor. One U.S. official decried the company's practices as, quote, inhumane. Many Haitian migrants work 12 to 14 hours for less than $2 a day while living in communities known as batallas, some of which do not have running water or electricity. Well, the Puerto Rican environmental group, Casa Pueblo, has been attempting to improve living conditions in the batallas by installing solar panels in some of the communities. Democracy Now! Correspondent Juan Carlos Davila recently traveled to the Dominican Republic to talk with local residents living in the communities as the solar panels were being installed. These are some of their voices.
Mi nombre es Epifania Saint-Charles. Soy dominicana de ascendencia haitiana.
My name is Epifania Saint-Charles. I am Dominican of Haitian descent. I am the coordinator of the Reconocido movement here in the region of Ceibo. In the past years, these two governments had a labor agreement with the neighboring country of Haiti. The labor accords that they created brought seasonal farm workers and the cane cutters to the Dominican Republic to work as cutters and harvesters of sugar cane. The state realized that the cheap labor of Haitian seasonal workers was beneficial to the Dominican economy. This culminated in the construction of batallas, towns of sugar plantation workers. These plantations have exploited these cheap laborers and forced Haitian seasonal workers into a modern form of slavery.
What do they call it, people? They called it a modern form of slavery, right? With Haiti, right? This is your Democratic President, Joe Biden. And what is he doing to Haitian migrants in the U.S. today? Because Haitians fighting Napoleon's army and winning their slavery wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. And then a long history of coups and violence and takeover, and not to mention what's going on right now, a massive civil war and gang violence, gang activity happening because of a private assassination of the president of Haiti. What is he doing to the Haitian migrants right now? What's he doing? They are calling that modern day slavery. That's what they're calling it. So essentially, slavery hasn't ended. So what's going on with Haitian migrants right now? Do y'all know? Joe Biden, his administration has deported. Let me try to find the article for you. Has deported. Let me try to find it. 1 second, y'all. I think it's a few hundred. we go. That is it. Let me get this up for you. Let me get this up here so y'all can see for yourself. So y'all can see for yourself. So before you absolve the Democratic Party of what they really are, just read this 1 second, y'all. There we go. U.S. deports dozens to Haiti despite telling citizens to leave the country. The same U.S. government is telling citizens in Haiti to leave Haiti is deporting Haitian citizens back to Haiti. Meanwhile, they are arresting Proud Boys and sending them to multiple years in prison. So who's the bigger criminal here? U.S. deports dozens to Haiti despite telling citizens to leave the country. Rights advocate says more than 60 Haitians were sent back to Caribbean nations struggling with escalating violence. Less than 24 hours after the United States urged its citizens to leave Haiti, less than 24 hours after the United States urged its citizens to leave Haiti as soon as possible due to increased violence, authorities deported dozens of Haitian nationals back to the country, an immigration rights advocate has confirmed. Guerline Joseph, ex-executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance Advocacy Group, told Al Jazeera that she has been in contact with some of the families of the Haitians who were on Thursday's removal flight from Alexandria, Louisiana, and Port-au-Prince. U.S. media outlets, including The Hill and the Miami Herald, also reported on the deportation flight, which Joseph said carried out more than 60 people. Several flight tracking websites showed the plane was set to arrive in the Haitian capital from Alexandria shortly before noon local time. Resuming deportations to Haiti is inhumane, Joseph said, explaining that asylum seekers and migrants are being sent back to the same conditions they fled in the first place, if not worse. So what I want y'all to do, right, is I want y'all to scour the internet to find out how many Ukrainian immigrants got deported back to Ukraine. How many Ukrainian asylum seekers got sent back to the Ukraine? Search the internet. Scour the internet. But why is it that the Republican Party and the new MAGA Republicans talking about build the wall and S-hole countries and all kind of stuff, how is it that those Republicans who made these draconian policies to begin with are now being supported on this issue by Democrats? Because they are who they are. The left-right paradigm has always had one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to make sure that white supremacy or the white supremacist is forever in power. And what's going on right now is that you are seeing the infighting of the white supremacists.
Run.
you're seeing the infighting of the white supremacists. Okay? Because the white supremacists, even though they agree that white folks are superior and that black folks are inferior, the most inferior, mind you, they agree on that. Their problem is the methodology to uphold their devilish system. That is the problem. One of them wants to pander and placate to the emotions of black folks and immigrants. And the other one says, no, why? Why do we need to placate to you? You got to work under us. That's it. That's it. One of them wants to use LGBTQs and whatnot and vaccines and other methods of population control. And the other one wants to use violence and rhetoric and partisanship. That's it. That's it. So when you find black folk all over media singing the praises of these rulings, right? Know that this system in itself is meant to keep us exactly where we are. And you're seeing even in Africa, Africans are fighting against democracy. All over Africa. Mali kicked out the French. Burkina Faso kicked out the French. Then Niger had the coup. And yesterday, Gabon forcibly seized power from the democratically elected president of Gabon. And the Nigerian president, what's his name? What's the Nigerian president's name? I can't remember. Can't remember his name. Maybe someone can put it in the chat. The Nigerian president right now is losing his mind. He's going bonkers because he is from the sellout class. When he won his election, it caused mass protest in Nigeria. Mass protest. And he is seeing himself, his head on the chopping block as well. Because it is signaling to the West African nations that these sell-out puppet democratically elected presidents have got to go. That's what it's signaling. And the reason why he's still in power right now is not because support of the people, because the people do not support him. They're actually supporting the Niger's coup, the coup in Niger, the army in Niger. They're supporting them. They're supporting their brothers in the coups. The only reason, in my opinion, why it hasn't happened to him yet is because a cultural difference. It's a cultural difference. And the cultural difference is the language. That's it. That's the only reason. In Nigeria, they speak English. In Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, in Gabon, they're all French speaking. Niger, Muslim majority country. Burkina Faso, Muslim majority country. Mali, Muslim majority country. Gabon is a Christian majority country, but they speak French. They speak French. So these folks now, the way that they are reacting to the, you know what? Let me just show you. Let me just show y'all, man, because you're not going to believe it. I found this today right? It's from a man named Doug Casey. I don't know who. Apparently, he's a big deal in the right wing circles. Doug Casey. I never heard of him before today, admittedly, but he's essentially a big deal in right wing circles. Maybe some of y'all can tell me more about him, right? But I found this today, right? And this is what they're saying. This is what the intellectuals of the far right are saying about this case. Let me show y'all.
Yeah, and talking about Proud Boys or Oath Keepers, they both seem to me, from what I've read about them, never met an Oath Keeper or a Proud Boy personally, but what I've read them to have said, they seem like perfectly decent people that are concerned about maintaining the traditions and ethics of America. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these people at all. It was a tactical error to show up January 6th and be part of the crowd. And of course, my feeling about January 6th is it wasn't a fomented revolution. It was a disturbance where a bunch of people walked to the Capitol, as they had every right to do, and there were some bad actors in the group, probably FBI agents like that guy.
Can you believe this crap? It's amazing how they become Black Lives Matter when they want to be victims. It's absolutely, I don't under, it's incredible how they can gaslight. Like the way that they can spin. I don't even know if you can call this spinning. Can you call this spinning? Like this is a complete orbit, man. The way that they can spin stories is dizzying. Ask him about any. I bet you, because you can tell just by listening to a few sentences of pretty much anybody. You don't have to listen to much of what they say, but if they are ideologically compromised, you can tell their positions pretty much about anything. Okay, if somebody's ideologically compromised. Ask him about the Black Lives Matter protest. Ask him if he'll describe the Black Lives Matter protest in the same manner that he is describing the January 6th rioters. Absolutely incredible. It's incredible the way that these guys can lie in order to keep their ideology afloat. But anyways, I digress. Let's keep watching.
Ray Epps was all over the place, having actually encouraged people to be naughty. Some damage.
All of a sudden, when it comes to them, they have the FBI agents in their crowds, and they have the agent provocateurs and whatnot. And mind you, the January 6th riot was admittedly planned to be a riot by the planners themselves. They wanted to cause as much mayhem as possible. That was their intention. They weren't planning to peacefully protest at all. They were intentionally trying to cause problems. Do y'all remember that girl? She went viral on the January 6th riot saying that the police pepper sprayed her or whatnot, and she was crying on the camera, oh, they pepper sprayed me for no reason. And it turns out she put onions in her eyes. Maybe somebody can put the link in the description if y'all remember what I'm talking about. That's who these guys are. They hate Black Lives Matter so much until it's time to be Black Lives Matter. Now they're Black Lives Matter. Now they're black, now the FBI agent provocateurs are coming to to ruin their peaceful protest. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, let's keep watching.
But nothing major, and nobody was endangered, and no cops were. Maybe one cop got pepper sprayed or something like that, and one had a heart attack or something the next day. But this has been blown totally out of proportion. And the sentences these guys were given, 17 years, 18 years, something on that order.
Yeah, there's a two.
Let's look this up, y'all. Let's look this up. Okay, he's just saying, oh, you know, one cop he died of a heart attack, and another cop was pepper sprayed. But other than that, it was pretty peaceful. Pretty peaceful. Nothing really happened. It was a peaceful protest. Like these guys, I don't understand. Even though you can't really take people like this seriously, but you have to take them seriously because the reason why they are lying like this on this level is not because they're trying to have civil discourse. Civil discourse is out the window. It's the illusion of civil discourse. These guys are actually preparing for war. That's what the whole January 6th thing was about. They are signaling to their base, prepare for violence. That's what they're signaling. Otherwise, why not have? Let's discuss it. Let's have some civil discourse. But when you are absolutely just outright lying, you're not interested in civil discourse at that point. You're only interested in pushing a narrative, right? So he's talking about, oh, one of the cops just had a heart attack, and blah 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 blah. You know, you know, and all this kind of nonsense and whatnot. If one of y'all, because Sister Tika, she's saying that she can remember that, right? If you can find that clip so we can show it here, right? That girl, she crying, and what ended up being, oh, the cops, they put mace on, and she ended up actually bringing onions to the protest to put in her eyes to cry, and then turn around and blame the cops. The Dean Show would love to have those white guys on the show. Eddie would have a puppy dog. I said, of course he would. Of course he would. That's who the Dean Show is now. The Dean Show is this. The Dean Show is this right-wing ideological element for Muslims. You get me? That's why you can't say that these are your brothers. They have chosen a side. They've chosen a very clear side of anti-blackness. But anyways, let me show y'all something. 1 second, y'all. This is so crazy. He's saying, oh, one of the cops died of a heart attack. You know, he's old, whatever he said, right? All right. Anyways, let's see. Let's see how his claims hold up to scrutiny of this peaceful protest. Okay. January 6th, United States Capitol attack. 5 people died either shortly before, during, or following the event. 1 was shot by Capitol Police. Another died of a drug overdose. 3 died of natural causes. Many people were injured, including, you can't make this crap up, 138 police officers. 4 officers who responded to the attack died by suicide within 7 months. This is your peaceful protest? The only Black Lives, the most people that died at the Black Lives Matter protest was 3 people shot in one incident by one individual who wasn't a protester, who came to the protest with an AR-15 assault rifle and used it against protesters. Kyle Rittenhouse. And these right-wingers went nuts to absolve Kyle Rittenhouse of any guilt. Oh, it's self-defense. The protesters didn't have any weapons. They were protesting peacefully. This dude came with the gun and shot 3 people. And even President Trump himself, gave Kyle Rittenhouse a call for what he did. But yet still, the Black Lives Matter protesters were violent, and this was a peaceful protest. After all this, a peaceful protest where 138 people were injured, including police officers. 138 people injured at one peaceful protest. One. Y'all are tripping, man. But this is who your Muslim zaddies are now pushing in front of you, involving Muslims in this ideological warfare. You can't make this crap up. You cannot make this crap up. Let's keep watching. 1 second, y'all. Doug Casey. Let's keep watching Doug Casey.
I think this article that you're referencing talks about 2 specific individuals, and one of them was sentenced to 17 years. This is a guy named Biggs. He was sentenced to 17 years. And another one from Philadelphia was sentenced to 15 years. And I think the charges were seditious conspiracy is what they actually charged them with originally.
Well, you cannot commit crime or imagined crime, which is what it is, against the state without expecting to be punished. I mean, if you committed a murder, you might be out in a couple of years or a few years. But where did they get the jury to convict these guys? I mean, was it were they railroaded to a jury that was full of Trump haters? And
well, it was a DC jury, I believe, right?
Okay, so it was a bunch of, I presume, either black people or government.
Do you hear that? He can't hide his racism. He can't hide it. The fact that you're asking where you got the jurors from after the fact just shows that you are even ignorant of the case to begin with, and you're speaking as an authority with ignorance, mind you, admitted ignorance, and turning around and saying, well, the jurors are probably black people. Because black people do not have the ability to be fair in trials against white people, right? Because all this history of black people showing up as jurors against white people and putting white folks in jail for their entire lives or having them executed, because that never happened to black people ever, never. Like white people have never, had like George Stinney. I mean, like he deserved to be executed at 14 years old, and whatchamacallit, all these black people that got charged, under white juries and hung and lynched. I mean, they deserved it. But you can't have an all-black jury against a white. It's not possible because black people can't be fair. Right? Right? Makes sense? He can't hide his racism. Like the whatchamacallit, the Central Park Five. Central Park Five, George Stinney Rodney King, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Like how many black folk been to jail for no crimes or innocent of the crimes, clearly innocent, but all white juries sent them to jail or to the death penalties or whatnot. Mumi Abu Jamal, right now, sitting in jail as we speak. H. Rap Brown, Jamil Alameen. Y'all are tripping. Anyways, let's keep playing, y'all. It's an echo. I'm gonna mute my mic, see how y'all hear it. 1 second, y'all.
Employees in DC, and they would have been selected to be fearful of these guys and what they represent, and to hate them. I mean, there was no way they wouldn't be convicted with a DC jury, because everybody.
So he's admitting, he basically admitted that there is a bias. He himself he admitted just by saying this, he's biased because he doesn't know what the jury looks like at all. He's just making an assumption. Black people are Trump haters. Is this is what we're calling scientific evidence now? This is what we're calling civil discourse. This stuff we're supposed to dialogue with these folks. We're supposed to dialogue with these folks, and then your YouTubian elites invite these types of people to their channels all the time because this is where the money is. This is that old slave money. Okay, let's keep.
In DC as a government employee or associates or lives with government employees on a secondary or tertiary level. So I feel bad for those guys. That's a long time to be in jail for taking part in a, I would say, peaceful march that got out of control.
He calling this peaceful. This guy's tripping. Look, man. Look, man. These guys are tripping, man. Like straight up. These guys are straight tripping. 1 second, y'all.
Yeah, just for awareness, be advised, there's probably about 300 Proud Boys. They're marching eastbound in this 400 block of kind of Independence, actually on the mall towards the United States Capitol.
I am not allowed to say what's going to happen today because everyone's just going to have to watch for themselves.
What did she just say? Does that sound like she's waiting to, give the politicians a birthday cake or something? Do you know how much evidence that they had that this was planned? Storming the Capitol, planned, and yet still these crackers can come out and pitch it as a peaceful protest. It's absolutely mind-boggling and amazing the lies that they can tell, man.
But it's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets!
Hurt you.
We are on your side. Don't make us go against you. I'm just picking a side. Pick a side. These are our streets. $20 a picture.
I hope my
The armed, peaceful protesters in bulletproof vests. Look at this.
is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election. All Vice President Pence has to do is send it back to the states to recertify. And we become president, and you are the happiest people. Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us. And if he doesn't, that will be a sad day for our country. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
That's not virtual signaling right now. You can't take your country back with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. That's not virtual. That's not virtue signaling. But this is how these devils are. They've been like this. They're like this wherever they go. It doesn't make a difference where they are. They will lie in order to accomplish their goals. Let's keep watching, yo.
Cruiser 50, it does look like we're going to have an ad hoc march stepping off here. There's a crowd surge heading east.
We love Trump! 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 We love Trump!
Mike Pence, I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
The peaceful protesters, y'all. These are the peaceful protesters.
Priority. We just had protesters. Circle, breach the line. We need backup.
Peaceful protesters in bulletproof vests.
The Vice President and the United States Senate.
We're going to give riot warnings as soon as the apparatus here. We're going to give riot warnings. We're going to try to get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
Cruiser 5 to 50, be advised, Cal Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
I copy.
We're about 5 miles out. We're trying to make our way through all this.
All those people yelling and screaming and throwing stuff in the air, they're all FBI agents. All of them. Those are all agent provocateurs. They're all agent provocateurs. But y'all get it. Y'all get it. The point is that Haitians, black Haitians coming into the States, coming into Canada, black Africans coming into Canada, coming to the States looking for an actual peaceful life, get shipped back by both governments. Right now, black folk, black Africans all over Toronto, sleeping on the streets without places to stay. First time in Canadian history. Okay? First time in Canadian history. Africans in the States are getting shipped right back on their rubber boats back to Africa, and Haitians, same thing. But this is a win for democracy. This. Let those people duke it out. Okay? Democracy is something people used to practice. It's finished now. We as black folk, especially black Muslims, we need to really focus on Allah and focus on our people and focus on ourselves. Because this house of cards is coming down and coming down fast. Jazakumullah khair. I'd like to thank everybody who joined me tonight. Subhanallah, I'll see you guys later. Assalamu alaikum.